Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Inspired Conversations, Living the Legacy with Legends. Allow me to say to you, Happy New Year. And I believe that in this year, you will do new things and you will succeed. Success is about doing what you want to do and achieving it and feeling good about it. Every one of us want to be successful in life, whether in business, ministry, family, relationships, and otherwise. Mr. Nelson Serobatse believes that for us to be successful, our attitude needs to be revisited. And he's here on Global Conference TV to unpack this topic of success with us. Mr. Nelson Serobatse.
Good morning, sir.
You are welcome. Thank you, sir. Now, are simolle ka go itse gore Ntate Nelson Serobatse ke mang o tswa go kae go diragalang kae?
Okay, Nelson Serobatse ke Motswana. Ke tsalletswe mo Johannesburg, Naledi Township. Ka golela go simolla sekolo ke simollotse primary kwa Motlatla, about 48 kilometers outside Ventersdorp. It's not a very big village, but that's where I did my primary schooling, and then I came to Johannesburg for my secondary education, and then eventually I completed my high school Komoruleng, Rustenburg area. And you know, ha re gola batswadi ba rona mo bofokoding ba go bereka, I had to work for a year ke kgobokanya tšhelete go ya university. Then kaya what was known as Teflo, University of the North, now it's University of Limpopo. That's where I did my Bachelor of Administration degree, and then I came back to Joburg as Simula Khobereka. Basically, I wanted to do journalism, but during those years, the only university was Rhodes in the Western Cape. It was far, it was expensive, so that's where I ended up with a Bachelor of Administration. But the love for writing has always been there. The love for, addressing issues, there's always been there. The love for talking, inspiring other people has always been there. So, yes, that's where I am now. Now, I do motivational talks. I assist other aspiring writers with editing and all that goes into having a final product, a book. And obviously then along the way is to say, yes, most of us, we get to a point where we cannot do the things that we always think about, that we always wish for, and it remains just a wish if you don't stand up and do it. And the only way that you can do that is to get your attitude right.
Okay, Mr. Serobatse, and as you have said that you also address such issues. One of the issues that you address, that you actually believe in it, is success.
Yes.
You believe that people can be everyone can be successful, but as you have said, we need to revisit our attitude.
Yes.
Hence, you wrote a book here, Attitude Revisited.
Yes.
Where you actually tackle this issue of success.
Yes.
That we really need to. But I want to know what actually inspired you to write this book.
What inspired me was that, I see a lot of people who do not achieve their goals, whether it's in business, whether it's in family, whether it's in a church, government leadership positions, because it starts with saying, okay, I can go and talk to a group of people here and there, but I wanted to say now, let me put something down in writing. Obviously, it will go out in the market, and everybody that comes across it, my belief is that once they've read this book, they will begin to think differently in terms of saying, but if other people are able to succeed in whatever they endeavor to do, why not me? So that was the thing that inspired me to say, I'm going to put it down in a book format and let it go out there.
Now, you said you saw that people are struggling to achieve what they want to do, what they want to achieve rather, because of certain attitudes. What are those attitudes that actually you have identified that this attitude makes people not to succeed?
Look, the main thing with attitude is that people, for some reason, for some strange reason, people just have a fear of, remember, people will always, there's this common saying that I have a fear of the unknown. What is it? Why do you fear it? Because you don't even know it. Why do you say, simply because it's unknown, you are not going to do anything to venture into it? And when you look at it, is that people actually, the fear that they have is not the unknown, really. If you change your attitude towards that unknown, is that people are now afraid, or they have a fear of getting out of the comfort zone. That there's nothing about you have to fear the unknown. It's people are just comfortable where they are. Now, they fear getting out of what they know, the known, where they are comfortable. Now I'm trying to say, do the thing that you are afraid to do and see what happens. And a lot of the time is that if you put your mind to it, if you put action into it, despite any criticism that may come, get into it and you will succeed.
As that before you saw I mean, as you speak about the fear of the unknown, and you say that it's actually not the fear of the unknown, and you speak about the comfort zone. Now, I want to know if, for example, if someone say, I'm afraid that when I fail, people will laugh at me or will criticize me, as you have said. Is it? I mean, I think, as you have said, it's not really fear of the unknown, because it's something that is known that if you fail, people will begin to criticize you and say, "Hey,
yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So that one, I think, it's unknown. It's known. It's not unknown.
Known,
yeah.
yes.
So how do people gonna tackle that one? How do people gonna overcome that one?
Okay. When more thing, you would probably, okay, let's say just a simple example that says, but yes, but that criticism that you anticipate, are you going to let it stop you from approaching the girl and talk to her? It's a simple example, but all I'm saying is that either she's going to say yes or no.
Yeah.
Now, whether your friends are going to criticize you, remember, what happens is that if that small element of criticism is going to discourage you, it's going to affect you. Remember, it's here. It's going to affect you going forward. Every time you think of doing something, you're going to think of people are going to criticize me, like you're saying, but now your whole life is going to be controlled or held back by your fear of criticism or your fear of failure. Remember, whether you are going to fail, whether somebody is going to criticize you because you did not succeed, it doesn't define you as a person. Every individual is capable at any given time in your life to achieve whatever you set your mind to do. But like you're saying, if you are going to let, right from the beginning, let the fear of criticism or the fear of failure, it's going to go into every aspect of your life. Every time you think of doing something, you're going to think about, oh, if I fail, if I don't succeed, but what won't say? But is it the life that you want as a person?
No.
So,
Just do what you are afraid to do.
the thing that you are afraid to do, go out and do it.
Yeah.
Let me make an example. When I've just heard at that time about a high school in Muruleng, I never knew the place. I was never there. Nobody said to me, this is how the place looks like. But I asked money from my parents to say I'm going to apply to do my secondary education in Muruleng. I got to Joburg station, took a bus all the way. Now, 7 o'clock I was in the bus. It drove, obviously, went round and round. Only at 11 o'clock it arrived in Rustenburg. Now I started asking, where do I get a bus or transport to Muruleng? The bus only comes from Muruleng in the morning, and then it leaves at about 5 in the afternoon. So somebody said there are taxis, but you're going to have to wait because, At about 12, the taxi left for Muruleng and got into the village. It was being driven by a lady. She just said, there's the school. I went and spoke to the principal, we finished off everything. Now it was the trip back to Joburg. It's hot. There's no transport back to town. I just walked to say, if I get a lift, I'll get a lift. But I think I had walked over 10 kilometers. And I'm talking like gravel road in the mountains, lots of snakes. But it was about, I wanted to come to this high school. I've been accepted. I'm going back home to prepare myself to come back next week. Now, remember, I didn't know anybody there. I didn't know anything about the area. But all I'm saying is that had I said I want a school where I'm going to be comfortable, either closer to home. I mean, there were high schools in Soweto, but I was focused on saying I want to go to Muruleng High. One of my teachers had told me about the school to say, there's that good boarding school in Muruleng, and that was it. But there was never anything that said, I can't travel to a place that I don't know. I may not be accepted. But it was, I am going, I will get there. And it happened.
And I think I agree with you, Serobatse, because I think many times as people, we focus on the negative aspect of things, of the result.
Yeah.
I mean, one person said, if someone asks you, what if you fail? Why can't you ask, what if I pass?
Yeah.
That's
the attitude I'm talking about.
Exactly.
If you say, what if I fail? Why don't you turn that around and say, what if I succeed? How am I going to feel? The thrill of saying, I've done it. Remember, failure is never final. You go and try it again. Look at what you did wrong the first time. Work on it, correct it, and go back. So many people, they fail once and they give up, and it stays with you. You will see a whole lot of people would have said, I wanted to be a doctor, and my maths or physics was not good. Why didn't you go back? Like, you know, people will say, I'm going to improve my subjects because this is the career that I want to follow. Very few people will do that. A person will say, now I can't become a doctor because I failed maths, I failed physics or biology or whatever. Then they've given up on what? On a career that is something that they had always aspired to be. Now, they don't even look for alternatives to say, now that I could not become a doctor, what's the closest thing to being a doctor that I can do? They just completely give up and probably follow something else, or they just don't do anything about it.
I mean, just imagine, as you talk about failure and trying again, just imagine, I mean, you spoke in your book, you have mentioned Thomas Edison. Just imagine if Thomas Edison gave up the first time he tried to invent the light bulb. I mean, today we could not have...
You could not have a light bulb.
Exactly. Yeah. But he persisted, he failed, he tried again until he succeeded. Yeah. So I think this is really a powerful attitude that...
Let me tell you, I'm not a big fan, or not particularly like anything or everything American, but I'll tell you the man that I admire, Abraham Lincoln. Every election time he tried for presidency of the US, all elections until he became the state president or the president of the United States. That's what he wanted, and he made sure that whether these elections I don't win, I'm going back the next elections. I think the 9th time he was elected president of the US. Now, and remember, it was not about I failed and the people know me, it means they are not interested in me, they'll never elect me. He went. And for the things that he did to prepare himself, people began to recognize that here's a man, if I go and vote for him, one person just saying I'm going to vote for him, then the next one and the next one, there's nothing that you will really fail. So the fear that people, they let it control them. And once it's captured you, it's going to be difficult to get out of it. Go bothata gore motho a re no, if smamang o succeedile nna ke mang ka palelwang. You know, ka Setswana principal o mongwe ka o na rata gore re ja bogobe re le babedi. So bothata ke eng wena o ka palelwa le o mongwe o jang bogobe, just like you, le ena tswelele pele o palelwa ke eng.
You know, you remind me, what you are saying, I'm always inspired by the scripture in the Bible. It says, it talks about Elijah. He said, Elijah was a man just like us, but he prayed to God that it must not rain, and it did not rain. Yeah. And he prayed again, and the rain rained. You know, so I love that statement that says he was just a man just like us. Yeah. And the Bible there implies that if he did it, which means I can also do it. Because he was just a man like me. He was not an angel, you know. So I think that's a very powerful attitude that we must have, that one.
And the other thing is that, you know, it's I always say to people, don't just read the Bible for the sake of reading the Bible or listen to somebody preaching. Think about, from this particular scripture, what is the lesson that I can take with me? People will talk about Nelson Mandela, global icon, Tata Madiba, blah, blah, blah. But have you ever took time to understand where he was coming from with everything that he would have said and everything that he had done? For instance, he says, not to quote verbatim, but he says something about why do you allow yourself to live a life that is less than that which you can live. It simply means that why do you think yourself weak? Why do you think that you cannot live that life that you aspire? You do whatever it takes to get there. Now, people will say, when somebody succeeds, it will be, hey, that's why I can't go that. Because people think success is all about money, success is about fame. There's nothing like that. The money will come, the fame will come, work first. I always say the dictionary is the only place where success comes before work. You can, only in the dictionary, S comes before the W. So success, whichever way is defined in the dictionary, it comes before work. So, but reverse that, I'm going to work first. This is a real world. I must first work, then success will come. Whether that success comes with fame, whether that success comes with money, those are the byproducts. You've worked for them. But you have to work first and succeed at what you're doing.
Mr. Serobatse, let's talk about, since when you spoke about the hard work, let's talk about, in your book you have mentioned the importance of time, how does time contribute towards success? Usually people say, time is money, and we have been all given 24 hours. There's no one who's been given less or more.
Yeah.
So how does actually time contribute towards success?
You've got to manage it. It's simple. When you wake up in the morning, is that what have you planned for the day? What are you going to be doing for the day? So that at the end of the day, you'll say, today, this is what I've done. I've succeeded on 1, 2, 3. Or sometimes it's about the project. What time have you invested in that project? And at the end of each day, the things that you've done, are they taking you closer to your goal? Are they taking you closer to what you want to achieve? So time, and you see, I've spoken about time as well in terms of don't think about seconds, minutes, hours. Think about phases in your life. During this phase of my life, what are the things that I've done? Did I achieve anything? And going forward, remember, as a child, you were a child, and that's acceptable. You were a child. You could do the things that every child generally goes through. Then you grew up into teenager, you start to begin to think at a certain level of responsibility. Now, you should also be able to say, okay, my time as a teenager, this is what I've achieved. My time as a youth or young adult, this is what I've achieved, until you get to where you are a fully fledged parent or a grandparent, but still a responsible person that says, I can count from the days that I could sort of think at a certain level as a responsible human being, and up to where I am now. These are the things that I've achieved. So you've got to manage the time. You've got to plan to say, this is what I'm going to do with the time that I have during this period until I achieve some level of success, then I can move forward.
Let's talk about God in our lives, the role of God in our lives towards our success. What is the importance of someone having a relationship with God towards success?
Remember, the first thing that you've got to remember is that God created you in His image. Now, if we say God created us in His image, the first and the greatest sin will be not to do the things that God had created you to do. God has created you in His image. You must be able to say, I'm going to use my position as a human being and the abilities, talent, if you want, that God gave me. Now, if you don't do that, it is a sin before God. I mean, a person that created you in his image is saying you should be able to do the things that you are capable of doing, because I gave you capabilities, I gave you ability, I gave you talent. You are whether you were born with one hand or one arm or one eye, that doesn't make you less of a person in God's image. So, yes, you've got to have a relationship with God. You've got to remember, for anything that you require, for anything that you want, you pray, you ask God, be specific to say, God, I need to be able to make a cup that will work like a cup. Nothing less, nothing more. You achieve that, then you go back and say, God, thank you for getting me through this. I've got this cup made with my own hands. It's working like every other cup made by any other person. You see, people are misled by somebody that promises them miracles. A miracle can only come from God. We've seen people who were written off to say from a car accident they'll never walk or they'll never live. And because of God's will, I'm sitting here and saying to you, I'm not talking about a miracle. If God has meant that you'll go through this car accident or whatever, or sickness, and you would live, you are going to live. Nobody must come and promise any other person any miracle. Doctors do what they are able to do, but finally it's God that says you live or you're not going to live. It's that simple.
That is, Robin, thank you so much, sir. I mean, that is really inspiring. If I can just ask you the last question. Rather, maybe I can ask you to give a comment, rather, to encouragement. There is someone who's sitting at home now as we speak. He's watching this program. And he's saying, I'm not educated. I don't have qualifications. I'm from a poor background. I see people are succeeding, but I don't think I can succeed. What can you say to such person, particularly those who are watching?
Okay. For everyone, wherever you are, I've just said God created you in his image. You are a capable human being. Qualifications are things that we found on this earth. We will leave them here, including money. All I'm saying is that you need to look within yourself. What is it that I'm capable of doing? What is it that I'm good at? Use it to your advantage. You see, we live in a world where we all want fancy things. Now, for instance, where I was working a while ago, somebody said, but I want 3 days leave. And you say, but I can only afford to give you one. We need to work. We've got work to do. Take 1 day's leave. Do the things that you need to do. But we are in the middle of a project. We need to work. And, obviously they were not happy. But one of the colleagues, as we were sitting, he said, you know what, when I was driving to work this morning, I saw a guy with a red flag. And he does that the whole day, like where there's road construction. And now, you've got this fancy job. Now, you don't appreciate it because we're talking about a simple thing to say we still have work to do. Nobody says you can't go on leave. But at least take 1 day rest, come back, let's work. Appreciate what you have. And be thankful that you are in that space. There's nothing about, without a fancy qualification or education, poor background and blah, blah, blah. Do something that, like I'm saying, that you are good at. Everybody has got some kind of talent. It's just that we don't tap into it. We don't challenge ourselves to engage with that talent. Everybody wants to work in an office, wear a tie. Immediately you can say to a guy, but you are good in selling because, you can talk to people, you've got this personality that, call it charm, charisma. Now, you need to begin to start by saying, okay, let me find, selling a newspaper. I've seen a guy moving newspaper. Not that there was something readily interesting to go and read in that paper. It's just a newspaper. It's got a stack on the floor. But he was saying something that suddenly attracted everybody to buy the newspaper. And within that newspaper, when I picked it up, there was, whatever he was saying, there was nothing that, could have on any given days. But, he just held the newspaper like this and said, yes, the ANC must come and say we are sorry. Then everybody suddenly wants to know, what is it that the ANC must say they are sorry for? And everybody, those newspapers were flying. Yeah. So you tap into that. And now everybody, if you were to say to them, or most people, if you were to say, but we are good with selling, then they go and think about still something fancy that is more than just selling. Yeah. Nobody wants to be seen to be selling newspapers. Yeah. They think of it as some menial job that hasn't got any dignity. But all I'm saying is that to everybody, all of us, there is that talent that you were born with. God gave it to you. Use it correctly, and it will work for you. Nothing is the less than anything that anybody else can do. There's the ecosystem. Every living thing depends on another. It makes a contribution in one way or the other. Yeah. So are we as human beings. You want to walk into a clean office, somebody must clean it. You want to walk into a clean toilet, somebody must do it. So there's nobody who's...
my show to go on, I need you.
Yeah. Yeah, precisely. So nobody's useless. You see, we live in a world that is very merciless because some people today, they've never achieved anything because at some point somebody said they are useless. At some point somebody said they were stupid. Now, how do you define a stupid person? How do you define a useless person? Because somewhere they make a difference to somebody somewhere. So exactly. We just need, you see that, like I'm saying, this world is just merciless. People don't care about the next. And everybody thinks they've got too much on their plate to even think about other people. Around April or so, I was walking down Commissioner Street. Now there was this elderly person battling to cross the street. She was walking with that walking stick that's, it's got those two handles. Yeah, I see. And obviously the robot goes red before she can, then she goes back and stops. Then I just went into that road and stopped the cars. I didn't care whether the robot is green or what. I stopped the cars, I said, come. Until she went over the road. And everybody was looking at me like, what if a car knocked you down? I said, look, I didn't think about a car that will knock me down. Here's a person that's struggling. When is he going to cross the street? Yeah. So it's little things that, you see, the other thing that people don't also succeed is that somebody may think, whatever I can do, it's so small, it's so little. that will not make a difference, or people will not even notice. That's not the point. Imagine if all of us, with that little bit, we put it together, what do we come out? Those little bits, all of them, they will make a difference to somebody, they will make a difference somewhere.
I mean, you have said it well in that day, Serobatse, that when we talk about ecosystem, that we need each other. I mean, we cannot all be lawyers.
Yes.
We cannot all be presenters. I mean, if I'm only a presenter, then who am I going to interview?
Yeah.
If I don't call an author that is Serobatse, you understand? I mean, if we are going to have this conversation, who's going to shoot?
Yes.
As this gentleman is shooting us now, you understand? So we need different kinds of skills and abilities and tasks so that we can do actually one thing. That is, Robert, if people want to get hold of you, to get more of your message about success, about leadership as you are doing, where can they get you?
I'm on 073 152 1752, and 24 hours I'm available on the phone.
Okay, that's nice. Okay. On Facebook?
Facebook, yes. Nelson Serobatse. I've got a page, Inspired. My book is also available on Amazon.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much, Ntate Serobatse. This topic is really motivating.
No,
yeah, thank you so much.
As a belief, Araske ra inyatsang a gona motho o leng less than omo, and I'm talking about a human being. Ki attach whether a lawyer, whether a doctor, whether a muruti. I am saying, as God created us in His image, ke se be gore o inyatse mo pele ga Modimo. So please, are we changing attitude towards bophelo le the way we run the local thing?
Thank you so much, Ntate. I really believe that we need to revisit our attitude. I think the power lies on the attitude.
There's so much power within us.
No, thank you so much, Ntate. Hope to see you again next time. Just to continue this issue about success, because really we need to succeed in life. There is so much that God has given to us, as you have said. And if we just go out there and change our attitude, have positive attitude, all things will be well. Thank you so much, Ndati.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you were watching Inspired Conversations, Living the Legacy with the Legends. We can all be successful only if we revisit our attitude. Let us change our attitude. Let us not fear. God has given us the power to do anything. We are made in His own image. My name is Onkarabile Mukoto, and I hope to see you next time, same place on Global Conference TV. And I'm saying to you, the journey continues.